Hi students, I am a geography teacher. I have started a new chapter, that is the water resources. In water resources, we have discussed two or three parts. That we discussed the water resources of water sources of water resource in India, importance of the irrigation and types of the irrigation, and why India need a irrigation system in India. So there we discuss it. If you have not seen my video, so you can directly click the I button, or you can easily visit my YouTube channel in NCERT Mitra, and there you can find this video. Okay, so let's start the today's topic, that is the water management. So before starting this chapter, we have to know the what is watershed management. Actually, watershed management is defined as a surface area from which the rainfall is collected and drains through the common point. It is you can say the synonymous with the drainage, basin and catchment area. In other words, you can say the watershed is the geo-hydrological units comprising the all land and water within the confines of the drainage divide. The size of watershed may vary from a few hectares to several thousands of hectares. Another thing you can say that the watershed sizes are classified into three, that is the micro, mini and macro watershed. So from there, whatever the water is coming down, so that should be conserved. In fact, watershed is a biological, physical and economic and social system. It is a, you can say, it is a land mass bounded vertically by area influenced by the human activities and horizontally by the water that drains into the point of this into the channel. So watershed management is an integration of the technologies within the natural boundaries of the drainage area for optimum development of land water and plants resources to meet the basic needs of the people and animal in a sustained manner. So this we have to do. Then come to the what is the principles of the watershed management. Utilizing the land according to their capability based on the land use classification, conserving as much as rainwater as possible and at the place where it falls, and the in situ conservation, draining out excess water with the shape of velocity and diverting it to the storage structure for future use of this water, avoiding the gully formation and the putting of the check dams as at the suitable places, control the soil erosion to store the rainwater and the research groundwater, identifying the suitable cropping pattern for a watershed area and maximizing the productivity per unit area, per unit time and per unit water. So that's the principality or the principle of the watershed management. In next topic, we have to objective of the watershed. So there are some objectives by which we have to manage our watershed to effectively conserve soil, rainwater and harness of the surplus water to create the water resource in addition to the groundwater research. Actually, the population is increasing day by day. Due to this fact, we have to exploit more and more groundwater. So this method, perhaps you know, that is the watershed management, by which we can conserve the more and more water and the pressure is decreased in the groundwater exploitation. Okay, to promote sustainable farming and stabilize crop yielding, you can yield by the adapting suitable cropping and crop management system, to cover the arable areas effectively through the afforestation, then come to horticulture, then pasture land development based on the capability of land, and to technique to enhance the income and by the adapting the to promote sustainable farming and stabilize the crop yielding, adopting suitable cropping and crop management system, to cover the non-arable areas that we already discussed, afforestation, horticulture, pasture land, then come to the development based on the capability that also be required, to enhance the income of the individual by adapting the alternative enterprise, to restore the ecological balance, increasing the cropping intensity and land equivalent ratio through the intercropping and sequence the cropping, safe utilization of the marginal and the wasteland through the alternate land use system such as agroforestry, ensuring the sustainability, and perhaps you know that is the word, the ecosystem benefit and the man, animal, plant, land, water, whatever that should be provide the water in a complex by using the watershed management. Stabilizing, perhaps you know, the total income and the cutting down the risks during the you can see the aberrant weather situation, with there is adverse situation of the weather, so that we can use this water. Improving the infrastructural facilities with the regard to storage, and you can say the transportation and marketing. So these are the main things. Then perhaps you can know the one of the some of the approach has been taken by number of scientists, the natural resources management, soil, water and biomass, that also be converted, then also be conserved. Then another thing, production system, the area and the productivity can be used, the watershed management. Then livelihood support, that also be increased by this. Okay, so these are the main thing. Next you can see the planning for the watershed management. Perhaps you can see comprehensive planning for the watershed management start with the obtaining the suitable then we have to use the remote sensing, provide the synoptic picture of the watershed for the characterized of the natural resources, land, water, vegetation, and interrelationship between them. Beside the mapping of the natural resources, satellite imagery should be improved, and that whatever the picture we are getting from the satellite, that should be used in effective manner to conserve the water. Okay, so this thing, distribution pattern and assessment of the status of material resources can be obtained from the satellite pictures, and the comprehensive planning for various activities is then carried out. Mechanical, then agronomical, agroecological, and forestry measures for this area, and that should be considered as this. Okay, so these are the main planning for the watershed management. Then already we have done many area in India that the case we have done the watershed management in July 27, 2016. The rain only the 2 hours paralyzed the life of the Gurgaon, that is the Gurgaon nowadays term, and now it is Gurugram, with the deep water logging. Main cause was the tragedy was consuming, and after that the planning of the Gurugram and watershed planning was ignored. Firozabad, you can say that is or the Jakira Delhi ridge, there is also western boundary and the Delhi ridge. So there also the problem, the watershed management. So natural water drainage pattern of the city compromises the large depression and stream and tending to cover inland instead of the following into the Yamuna. So Firozabad and Jakira and Delhi, they have started the watershed management. Okay, Delhi Jaipur Highway National 8 crosses the several watershed almost the middle and block of the natural drainage pattern from south to north. Thus, the unscientific planning of the national highway, that is the National Highway 8, is already responsible to the Gurugram and Gurugram tragedy, and it is thus the important to incorporate the watershed approach in the planning of a city. Okay, so this thing, so delineation and the you can see the codification of the watershed. All India Soil and Land Use Survey of the Departments of Agriculture, Government of India has been finalized the nationwide system at the delineation at the codification of the watershed management, and according to this the scheme, they already started the watershed management in the basin, in the catchment area, in the sub-catchment area, and watershed. Okay, and watershed in India, you can say the 535 rivers and 112 catchment and 500 sub-catchment area already developed, 3200 watershed management already developed in India, that we can get our water during the dry season as well. Okay, then another thing, for purpose of this planning and the development, 3200 watershed has been divided into different types of, that is the sub watershed. Perhaps you can see milli watershed, that is the 1000 to 10,000 hectares, micro watershed, that is the 100 to 1000 hectares, mini watershed, that is 1 to 100 hectares. So this we have to understand. Then you can say the significance of the watershed management. What are the significant? Means the productivity of agriculture that can be increased to protect and enhance the water resources, moderate the flood that can be also reduce the silting. You can say the silting upon the tanks and the conserve the rainwater for the crops and thus mitigate the droughts only. Okay, to utilize, perhaps you know, that is the natural local resources for improving the cottons and small industries to improve socio-economic condition to the local. Okay, then another thing, the allied activities of industries are promoted. For forestry provided an additional source of these resources. Okay, so this we have to soil resources, perhaps you know, that is soil also soil erosion also be checked by this watershed management. Cottage industries also are developed due to this fact, and more employment opportunities are created because watershed for construction of the dam or the small dam number of labor is needed, so that also play important role for creation of the employment in the country. Then the space availability for the made by the more enjoyable and ecologically well maintained in a healthy and sustainable condition. So this thing we can do. And so this is for the today. So we so far discussed a number of topics, that is the significance of the watershed management, declination of the and codification of the watershed management, case study we have already seen, then the planning for the watershed management. So all these things we developed or we already discussed. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.